Narrative argument. The goals and objectives of this presentation are to define narrative and arguments, to explain why we use narrative argument in academic writing, and to evaluate the effectiveness of narrative argument to persuade an audience. What is narrative? Narrative is storytelling, and we all like a good story. It's a personal experience or observation of someone else's experience. It's also called anecdotal evidence. Telling a story can create a powerful image. In this example, a student begins a paper with a narrative about a small child who will die unless he receives a kidney transplant. The narrative explains the dire medical condition of the child and characterizes the child in ways that move the audience to care and connect emotionally. Next, the writer reveals that the child is her nephew, so audience knows why it matters to the writer on a personal level. The writer has gained reader attention and prepared him or her for what's to come, the thesis, position and claim the paper will make. So this example has illustrated a need and prepared the audience, as well as connecting the audience to the bigger picture. The writer moves into the topic of the paper, the need for organ donation, and the thesis, we should all become organ donors because it saves lives. This is also a way to connect one's writing to what's called the bigger picture, showing why individuals not directly affected by something should still see the significance of the argument because it could impact someone they know, possibly even oneself or the greater community. In these examples, college professor David Bartholomew uses narration in a paper he has written to 1. Introduce the topic of the paper, the opening sentences. Every time a student sits down to write for us, he has to invent the university for the occasion. Invent the university, that is, or a branch of it, like history or anthropology or economics or English. He has to learn to speak our language, to speak as we do, to try on the peculiar ways of knowing, selecting, evaluating, reporting, concluding, and arguing that define the discourse of our community. Bartholomew also uses narration to introduce the purpose and method of study that he has conducted. I have reviewed 500 essays in response to the question used during one of our placement exams. As I read these essays, I was looking to see what happened when a writer entered into a language, vocabulary and writing style of a specific academic subject, and to see how that language made or unmade a writer. There are limitations to using anecdotal evidence. Basically, that's using it as your single source of evidence. While it may be more persuasive than just facts and figures, if we use personal experience without adding those, that is the appeal to logic, statistics, data, the facts, expert testimony, we can risk creating a skeptical audience because emotional appeal by itself can be viewed as a scare tactic or a subjective opinion rather than provable evidence. One person's experience is not necessarily typical of everyone's experience. So it's best to use it in tandem with logos. So we use narrative writing in English 102, but also you will be able to use this technique in a variety of other college courses that call upon you to write, research, and report. Beyond college, there are a variety of professions that will rely on narration to some extent as well. I've provided a very brief list here, and in addition, there will be many individual occasions throughout your life in which having some command of narrative style will be of great benefit to you. A couple of examples here are job cover letters, accident reports, filing insurance claims, and many others that I'm sure you can think of. What examples can you think of for using narrative?